Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone podcast. My name is Kathy. On the 24th of February 2025, in a recently released document to the public, the defense filed motion in limine number 13. This is entitled Regarding Conditions as Aggravator, and what conditions this motion is based on is the recently disclosed fact that Mr. Kohberger has autism. It says here, comes now Brian C. Kohberger by and through his attorneys of record, and hereby moves this court for an order preventing the state of Idaho from using Mr. Kohberger's mental health diagnosis of autism and the characteristics of his autism as evidence in its case. This motion is meant to protect Mr. Kohberger's 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights under the United States Constitution and Article 1, Sections 6 and 13 of the Idaho Constitution. And continuing on, first paragraph of page 2, defense continues, Mr. Kohberger has a diagnosis of autism, and he displays characteristics consistent with autism. A comprehensive neurological evaluation of Mr. Kohberger was conducted by Dr. Rachel Orr, who found that Mr. Kohberger, quote, continues to exhibit all the core diagnostic features of ASD currently, with significant impacts on his daily life. And this cites to Exhibit 1 or report, page 17, emphasis added. Mr. Kohberger, this continues on page 2, shares characteristics such as social challenges, perseveration, and lack of reciprocity. These characteristics are noted by those unfamiliar with autism, says the defense, as not picking up on social cues. And in evaluating Mr. Kohberger, Dr. Orr found that he has displayed lifelong deficits in social emotional reciprocity, including, quote, limited perspective taking, end quote, and, quote, limited sharing of affect emotions of others, end quote. Exhibit A at page 16 is the citation here. Defense then states, because of his autism, others may see Brian as not recognizing social cues, continuing to talk to others when the conversation would naturally end, and over-focusing on a topic or hobby of interest or talking about the same topic repeatedly, using a complicated vocabulary or seeming self-absorbed. Brian's autism is also accompanied by obsessive compulsiveness and an eating disorder, and since childhood, Mr. Kohberger has exhibited compulsions around getting things in his eyes, hand washing, and other germ avoidant behaviors. Citing to Exhibit 1, page 18, these characteristics must not be used by the prosecution as factors for the jury to consider as aggravators. And then it goes on to cite to State versus Payne as supporting case law. This is an Idaho Supreme Court case from 2008 holding that mental health evidence is relevant to mitigation even where there is no nexus between the defendant's mental health and the crimes, and also State versus Card, which is another Idaho Supreme Court case, quote, stating, it is clear that a mental defect may diminish an individual's culpability for a criminal act, end of quote. And a third case, this is a U.S. Supreme Court case, Penny versus Limine, acknowledging the belief long held by this society that defendants who commit criminal acts that are attributable to disadvantaged background or to, and this is in bold, emotional and mental problems may be less culpable than defendants who have had no such excuse. This is a motion that's signed by Ancy Taylor. We await the state of Idaho's response to this motion, which is now due on March 17th, 2025. This will now conclude this episode of the Indie Zone podcast. Thank you for joining us here today.